Good morning and welcome to the 48 hours before the biggest exam of my life, my PhD comprehensive exam. Woo! Okay, anyways, I'm literally late. I need to go into Pilates and then I will talk to you when I come back. And I saw this lady wearing a shirt that just said pickleball is life across it. And you know what? I love that devotion to the sport. That is Olympic behavior. I've never played pickleball, but anyways, Pilates was fantastic. I don't typically do Pilates. I did like years ago after I finished dance because they are, I don't know, the form and the flexibility is quite similar. I usually weight train and swim, but I decided to treat myself to a round of Pilates classes for the month so that I could focus on protecting my back, because when I study, all I do is sit like a shrimp. Like I am like this all day, just stretching things out, helping my spine stay healthy. So it's been great. I will miss it, but I have to stop. I mean, you only like pay for the month, so I have to stop because on Saturday, so 2 days after my exam, I'm actually going to Thailand for 3 weeks. Also some Indonesia in there. So yeah, it's gonna be an exciting couple of days. This vlog is about the 48 hours before my exam, all the stuff that's going on in preparation for that, the calm before the storm. Hopefully the calm before the calm, but we'll see. Okay, anyways, I will catch up with you when I'm at home. Let's get to work. Tomorrow is the first day of the Teaching and Learning Innovations Conference 2025, Cultivating Spaces of Possibility. That's like the full title and theme. When I first learned about the theme, I was absolutely in love, and I was like, regardless of the day in May, as long as I am here and it's not the day of my exam, I will be there, whether as a participant, but maybe I thought as a workshop leader, put in for a potential workshop, and it got accepted in March, and now it's May and I'm presenting. But I proposed this title, Speculative Design as a Tool for Equitable and Curious Learning Communities. And this is about using speculative design, which is a type of way of thinking about the world and thinking about possibility through imagination, through brainstorming, that allows us to facilitate better spaces, whether that's the classroom or even like assignments, right? Allowing students to use speculative design to think about the world differently. This workshop is about an hour long. I'm gonna do a little bit of kind of like lecturing, more like teaching about some of the basic principles of speculative design, but the majority of this will be the audience actually using the tools and coming up with something brilliant. This isn't something, again, that's like totally related to what I research as a PhD student. It's more about how I do that research and how I share my research with other people, how I teach. So this is something that's just like merges my interest in media and creating with justice. When I first learned about this in my master's program from a couple of really cool individuals, I realized like these justice fields, or like specifically politics and law, like these don't have to be like so Times New Roman, you know what I'm saying? They can be outside of the box, they can be colorful and imaginative, and that brought me a lot of hope and brings me a lot of kind of excitement about doing this type of work. I've already done a little bit of the outline, and now it's just about kind of turning this into a slide deck for tomorrow. Otherwise, This is gonna be just more of a break, it's intellectual and it's academic, but it's more of like a break for me because it's like, oh yeah, there's more to life in my career than this exam. I just returned from my walk with Romeo and we got stuck in some torrential downpour to the point where I actually had to remove all my clothes to be able to enter my house. So that was my final straw and I ordered McDonald's. Romeo's in the crate drying off, but he had a blast. You know what, I tried to do it too, you know? When people are like, something about like dancing in the rain, don't wait for the storm to pass, dance in the rain. I tried to have that moment. It was fleeting. Dawn's Hall, Fruitopia, strawberry, the only correct answer. A Chipotle wrap, some fries for the soul. And again, only correct answer, barbecue sauce. Let's munk. Hey everyone, me and my sloth are feeling the same way actually. I think like up until this moment I just didn't realize how tired I was. It's been like a really long year and the last like month and a half of really studying every single day. It sucks to feel like I've worked like as hard as I've ever worked in my entire life for an exam that is so freaking scary. And now like I'm just right before it and I feel like I'm gonna fail because I'm not there emotionally, and like part of me is like gaslighting myself into thinking like you didn't really do that much work when I know I did. It's just like it's a shitty feeling. I think I'm just gonna try to tie up the bows on this and head to bed because I just need to sleep even though I feel guilty. Oh, there's a fluff. Good morning everyone. Welcome to the University of Guelph. So I just drove from my house about an hour and 15 minutes to get here, not too bad. And I'm gonna head into the conference. This morning woke up honestly so exhausted, but stuff like this kind of re-energizes me, so I'm feeling a lot better than I was last night. I'll do a quick outfit. I'm wearing this sweater that I just got actually from Abercrombie. These pants are from Uniqlo, and then my shoes are from Browns. Wanted to feel comfortable, debated wearing heels, but like, no. And I actually brought my Crocs so that I can drive home in them. But anyways, I have a bunch of materials. I like to go always in a little bit of early just so I can get to know the space. I have a little bit of like final things I want to fix about the PowerPoint and then we'll get started. So let's do it. Okay, I've just been preparing. I'm gonna pack up my stuff. Got my lanyard. Let's go. I gotta go pee and then let's go present.
I am happy to welcome Vic Duarte, who's going to give a presentation on speculative design.
Welcome everyone, it's so lovely to have you here. My name is Vic and I'll talk a little bit more about who I am, but for a second I just wanted to start with a small activity. The stakes are so low in this one, I so promise. What is something about the education system that you've never understood? Maybe as an educator, maybe as a learner. What's something that you were just like, that makes no sense? So apparently Christopher, who's like the chair of the conference and the committee, I guess, was looking forward to meeting me because he thought I was going to be a troublemaker. I don't know why. He was like, based on your proposal, based on the fact that you asked me for this microphone, which I realize now I don't need, he was like, you sounded like a menace. And I was like, well, maybe I am, and you're gonna have to find out. Around us as guests on this land, as learners and people who care about what's deeply coming next for our world. And I think education plays an incredible part in that imagination. My life has been a free fall of my curiosities. Everything that I have chosen to do has been driven by something that made me go, huh, that's freaking weird, like what? I was at the beginning of my first year of my program, my PhD, and I absolutely love school, okay? If you see me skipping at the St. George campus, No, you didn't. In my first year, I really struggled with imposter syndrome. And I started to realize it's because I was dealing with a lot of academic scarring that I received through all of my years of education. The love that I have for learning did suffer because many people didn't notice that the spaces that they created were not conducive to everybody. I have been teaching and I've been working on some tools with speculative design. In the last 2 years, I've taught 10 courses at 5 different schools, and 2 of them have been abroad. So I love doing it and I have lots of energy for it. But there are some things that I still hear from my high school version that stick with me. I had an English teacher tell me, Vic, you could spend hours on an essay, but if you just don't get it, then your work isn't anything. It won't amount to anything. And I refuse to believe that people's efforts and their curiosity are not intelligence. That is a form of intelligence. And so it's been kind of my lifelong mission to talk about ways that we can make spaces more possible for every type of learner and to invite everybody in. And I think that is speculative design. This is my last favorite quote. It goes, "But curiosity's value extends beyond wealth or professional success. Curious people question their circumstances and fight for something better. They can appreciate the world's marvels and the importance of conservation. Above all, curious people are learners, people who can look closely at an orange blossom or a mural or a fellow human being and wonder." And again, if it wasn't for the curiosity that I had, I don't think I would have made it through all of the years of education that I've had. But also, if it wasn't for the educators that valued that curiosity, I don't think that I would be doing my PhD today. One of those educators is actually in this room, but there's so many people that along the way were like, hey, you know what? That's unconventional, but I like it, and it's still intelligence. Hi, from the other side of the workshop. That was so fun. When I was talking to the chair of the office and some of the staff members, people were kind of like, oh, we saw this on the program and we knew that this was going to be something that is outside of the box and unconventional and radical. And I laughed because I'm like, this is something kind of that I do every single day for myself as a learner, but then also even in my class. So it doesn't feel radical, but I'm glad that people are getting exposure to things that they feel would never happen in the classroom but can. So yeah, I don't know, I had lots of fun. I got to see Laura, who was my unofficial supervisor for my master's here in Canada. I had been assigned someone in the UK, but I connected with Laura, who is now an assistant professor at the university I graduated from. And just seeing her and having her in my class, in my workshop was so cute and full circle. But yeah, I'm glad that it worked out. I forgot to say this, but walking towards the building and the provost of the school I went for my undergrad was standing right there, and I was like, hey George, what's up? And he was like, what are you doing here? And I was like, oh, he's like, oh, are you just presenting, or he's like, are you attending? And I'm like, no, I'm facilitating a workshop. And he's like, of course you are. And I was like, yep, I know. I don't know why I did it either, but I'm so glad that I did. So I'm gonna drive home and get to some studying, and I'll update you in a bit. Peace. Hi, beautiful. Hi, Romeo. What are you doing? You big stinky man. Yeah, I love you. Okay, so I am home now. I was talking to Arvind on the way home. If you don't know who Arvind is, one of the characters in my life. He has taken a course with me before, and then this past winter we taught at the same campus. We taught our own separate courses. So it's just been so lovely to getting to know him and to be part of his life and to have him be part of mine. Talking through some things with him made me realize that I've done everything that I can to be successful in this exam, and it sucks because you can get that validation. You can say it to yourself, but sometimes you don't believe it. You can get it from your family members and still not believe it. But there is something about people who are going through it with you, who are in your cohort and are walking through these logics with you that can make you feel a little bit more confident. So I really loved talking for an hour with him about kind of where I'm at and how we feel about this whole thing. He's writing his exam in August, so wish Arvind good luck. But yeah, it's gonna be hopefully a pretty good night. I'm hoping to kind of keep this calm energy up. It did not happen for me yesterday, but I'm gonna clean up my space now and then I will keep you updated. Okay, I've tidied my room. I have vacuumed the basement, tidied some stuff in the kitchen, and now I'm going to just take a 30-minute nap just to decompress. Maybe I'll do some NSDR, which if you don't know what that is, that's non-sleep deep rest. It's like a meditation that kind of helps you just like release stress that you hold in your body. Well, I was at the end of the workshop, I was talking to someone and someone came up to me and stuck this on my lanyard and it says, "Comps, you got this." And I actually could have cried. Like this random sweetheart who probably knows what comps are like and how stressful they can put this on, and I'm actually gonna keep this forever. I can't. I wish I got their name. Okay, I will see you after my nap. Hi. So here's the thing, I actually did not sleep. That was fantastic. Instead though, I did walk Romeo and I did some practice questions. I did some review. So now I'm gonna go for dinner at Revitalize with Sam and her mom, and I'm gonna get a tuna cotto because that is so yummy and reminds me so much of London. And then I will see where the night takes me. The night is so young. Yeah. Cheers. Yum. One of the Romeo, I didn't know I was boring you. What the heck?